You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Hop on YouTube, welcome to the hood table, where we chop up local and global events vocally. You don't really wanna miss out on these conversations. Just joke a little, laugh a little, get that wine in your system, fill your glass a little. Expose current events, talk trash a little. You never know, these opinions might clash a little. They addicted to the content, got them binge watching. You don't like it, then you uninvited. Bet your friends watching in the house or in your job parking lot before you clocking. They don't wanna miss a second of this HT content. Everybody think they got something to say, so it's an open invitation, bring it to the table. But if you come whack, just know we ain't buying in. We gon' probably turn your back and tell you sorry, try again. Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hood Table one more again. What up, Cosmic Girl? I am so sorry, you guys. I am super late, like almost 2 hours late. Totally not what I planned. Please make sure you come on in, like and share the video, please, and thank you. Subscribe to the Hood Table if you happen to be new here. And of course, while I'm doing commentary, if you want to donate to the commentary or the platform, the Cash App is scrolling across the bottom, $ the Hood Table 402, or feel free to hit a super chat. But I had totally forgot, because I think I told y'all before, with all the storms that we've been having the last few months, I got hail damage on my house. So I had filed a claim with my insurance company. And so I have been going back and forth with the adjusters and the contractors. And I totally forgot that the contractor was supposed to meet me at my house today at 4, so we can go over like what color shingles I want, what color this, what do I want to replace, what I don't want to replace, what I want to upgrade, what, you know, all that. And it took forever. And like halfway through the meeting, I was like, oh, dang, I forgot I had a show. So that is my fault. But thank goodness they're going to start working on the roof and working on my windows and all that kind of stuff. Gutters, siding, you know, we got a lot of hail damage. It was around like April. We've been having storms for the last, you know, it's that time of the year. We ain't the only ones, okay? But we had some really bad storms in April, and that's where a lot of the hail damage came from. So a lot of the insurance companies, the adjusters, the contractors, they are so behind. So they probably won't even start on my roof for like 2 more weeks. But anyway, we are here, and I am ready to go through these transcripts with y'all. And again, y'all know I don't go through them before you guys, because I like to give you guys my natural, authentic reaction when I'm reading through this stuff. So when I be gagged, okay? I don't be practicing to be like, oh, surprise, you know, after you already know you're having a surprise party. But no, I'm going through the transcripts with you guys. And it seemed to be a lot of transcripts today, mainly from Capricorn. Now, a lot of people, you know, if you either know or you don't know, a lot of these people I didn't know about. You know, I knew about Diddy and Cassie and, you know, celebrities, you know, that he hung around with, celebrities that he used to be involved with, you know, Biggie, all them. But I don't know, like, all the people that's in his circle. So these names are new to me, just like to other people. This Capricorn Clark, a lot of people is asking, who is she? So just to give you the spiel on who was mainly on the stand today, that was Capricorn Clark. Now, prosecutors for the government, Maureen Comey, she had named Capricorn as the first witness to be called this week. So after her, the representatives of the LAPD were also we called to testify. You know, that's supposed to be on Tuesday. But Capricorn Clark, she is a former assistant to the controversial rapper and recording executive Diddy. She's a California native who was employed at firms like Def Jam, Magic Johnson Enterprise, BET. She moved to New York in 2000 and later worked at Crossroads, a production company. It says her designation at Crossroads was the television production manager, and she handled projects for HBO, ABC, NBC, and more. Following her departure from Crossroads, she was employed by Diddy. And her duties included handling like day-to-day functions of Diddy's business and his personal affairs. She briefly left Bad Boy Records, which we're going to hear about in her testimony. She briefly left Bad Boy's Diddy's label and departed permanently from her assistant job. Okay, where she worked as strategic and production or product marketing consultant at Sony before being assigned to Sierra and R. Kelly. So she's worked with some really big names besides Diddy. But then she returned to work with Diddy, and we're going to hear all about that in the transcripts. For those of y'all who haven't gone through the transcripts already, I'm going to fill you in. But she returned to Diddy at the time of the relaunch of Sean John's women's line. They said she served as Diddy's global brand director, managing his personal brand. At the same time, she also worked on the productions of Diddy Dirty Money, The Final Days 2010, and I Want to Work for Diddy 2008. Y'all remember those TV shows? But anyway, besides her professional relationship with Diddy, she also worked for Kid Cudi, aka Scott McStudy, okay? Which we heard from him last week. He was talking about how Diddy had threatened him. He had broke into his house. He had harmed his dog, locked his dog up in the closet or the bathroom somewhere, and then set his car on fire. Yes, that's what Kid Cudi accused him of, and that's what he testified to on May 22nd. Okay? So, and that was because allegedly Diddy was jealous because I guess him and Cudi used to be cool. They used to be homeboys. And then he started, messing around with Cassie, and Diddy didn't like that at all. So once he discovered about their relationship, that's basically when he started threatening them and doing different things, trying to break up their relationship, which he actually did. Now, from what Kid Cudi also said was he got played, okay? Was that Cassie played with his emotions. She was still messing around with Diddy and messing around with him too. And allegedly, she was the one who told Diddy where Kid Cudi lives so that Diddy could go to his house and could break in. And when they asked last week, well, don't you got cameras? He was like, yeah, but the cameras was turned around. Somebody messed with the cameras. Somebody turned the cameras away from certain area wherever the person broke in at. So this was what we heard last week from Kid Cudi. So, hey, we're going to pick it up from there, okay? We are going to pick it up from there. So you guys, again, make sure you like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you happen to be new here. I'm going to get started on these transcripts. It's a lot of them. So, of course, I'll be taking little breaks in between talking to, quench my thirst. Okay. I got my water here. I got my drink here. Okay. So y'all ready? Week 3, right? Yeah. Week 3. Okay. Day 10, week 3 of the United States versus Combs trial. Okay, so I'm reading from the transcript. So I'm reading literally what the judge had to say before the jury even came in, things like that, as always. So Judge Sub, I call him Sub because that name, submarine, something. Judge started off, I see you burned the midnight oil over the weekend. What about the DNA questions? Because they had discussed the DNA last week, the test, when it comes to the bombing of Cudi's car. The United States investigator Jimenez, they said the knowledge is extremely limited when it came to the DNA. So the judge said, but didn't he ask the serologist if any DNA test was done? The government said, but not the results. So they did the DNA test. They didn't get the I don't understand, because from what I heard last week, I could have sworn that they said the DNA matched a female's fingerprints and not a male. And I was like, did Diddy really bomb that car? Did he have somebody else do it? I don't know, child. And if I miss anything, feel free to fill me in, because there's so many people talking about this, the press, the news, bloggers, YouTubers, things like that. So if you think there's something I should know, or if I miss anything, feel free to put it in the chat, okay? Now, the government said, yes, there was a partial profile from the glass bottle in the car, But investigator Jimenez does not know what that means. But there, and then the judge, you don't object to the report coming in, only what Mr. Agnifilio will ask? We do object to the report coming in. Diddy's attorney, Agnifilio, he got the results back. If the DNA came back with Sean Diddy Combs' DNA, this investigation would have gone in a different direction. But it was consistent to a fee. Okay, so I was right. That's what they said last week. They said, but it was consistent with a female contributor. So the judge said, so it's not whether the result was accurate, only the impact. Then the judge goes further and says, I'm going to overrule the objection, but I'll hear you at sidebar after the direct. The government says this DNA issue can mislead the jury. Diddy's attorney said we could prove this up through the serologist. This is a fair game for this witness. The judge said for now, the objection is overruled. Then the judge says, what about the summary charts? When are they being offered? The government says sometime early next week. Others along with our second to last witness before we rest our case. The judge says bringing in bank and phone records and text is okay, but some text threads are already in. The judge then says that leaves us with the objection to Dr. Hughes. Is the United States going to respond? The government says yes. The judge says submit your response by tomorrow. Okay, so basically, on May 24th, Diddy's attorney filed to exclude Dr. Hughes' testimony as a Rorschach ink blot the prosecutors could use. Anybody want to look that shit up? Rorschach. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Hold on, let me see. Rorschach. Damn, it's right in front of me and I can't even spell it on my doggone phone. Ink blot. Oh, okay. So Rorschach ink blot test. I guess it's a man named Herman Rorschach, where they get it, the name from. And they said it's a projective psychological test where subjects are shown 10 ink blots and asked to describe what they see in each one. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. All right. I don't know. So, what up, Detached Myself? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate you sliding through. Come on, y'all. Slide on through. Feel free to drop down in the chat. We don't bite. So, let's see. So now, as the judge says, now as to Mr. Cuddy's testimony, which seemed like an opinion, how is it admissible given the requirement of Rule 701? And the government says, we like to look at the cases submitted by the defendant, then put in a letter. The judge says, okay, bring the jury in. So let's get it started. Okay, day 10 of the Diddy trial. Okay. So, jury enters. The judge says, welcome back. Call your next witness. The government calls Capricorn Clark, the lady who I just described to you who she is. Where did you grow up? Born in San Francisco, moved to LA, worked for Def Jam, then Death Row Records, a late 90s gangster rap label. What was your relationship to Suge Knight? He is the father of my friend's child. Then you work for Diddy? Yes, he is over there in a blue sweater. I worked for him from 2004 to 2012. Were you kidnapped? Yes. When did you first meet Diddy? When I moved to New York City in 2002, we were super platonic friends. A headhunter said I should work for him as a personal assistant, and I did until 2006. And your duties? Shadow him from Wake Up. Then what? Head of women's for Sean John. How long? A year. Then global brand director for Sean Combs, Diddy. Names and likeness due diligence to grow the brand. Then I was terminated until 2016 for Cassie. Did you work in the building? And they showed her a photo of Bad Boys recording office. Yes, we moved there in 2005. Your first day, where did Diddy take you? Central Park, after dark, along with Uncle Paulie. He looked like a linebacker. Does this photo look like him? No. He doesn't have on the blackout shades he wore all the time. What did Diddy tell you in the park? That since I work for Suge Knight, if anything happens, he might have to kill me. Objection. Woo! You know, Diddy there was about to let that one slide. So the judge says, overrule, proceed. How did you take it? Seriously, it had a how the hell gravitas? It had a gravitas. I don't know what the hell that means, y'all. Look it up. How did you react? I said I didn't have anything to do with that stuff. Objection. Sustained. Mrs. Steiner talking to the government attorney, prosecutor. Okay, what was Polly's role? All aspects of Diddy's movements to keep him safe. There were also D-Rock, Roger Bonds, and Ruben. Who's D-Rock? A good friend of Biggie Smalls, running back type body. Did you ever observe Diddy with a gun? Yes, in my home. And did he talk about it? Diddy told Chris Lighty he had a gun. He had a problem with 50 Cent. Were you ever accused of stealing? Yes. Jewelry. It had been given to me. It was on loan. It went missing? Yes. What did you do? From Teterboro, I called 1440 and told them to lock it down. What did Uncle Paulie do? He questioned me for 3 hours. You went home? To Queens, yes, with Uncle Paulie. He searched my house. Where did Uncle Paulie take you? 1710 Broadway. It was a dilapidated, it was being fixed up. But I didn't know that. Uncle Paulie told me or took me to the 6th floor. The door was locked behind us. There was a 6-foot folding table and a heavy-set man. This is getting good. Can you describe him? 5 of me, 2 linebackers. He was chain smoking. Did Uncle Paulie stay? No, intermittently he came back. What did the heavyset man say? I was there to take a lie detector test. What did he say? What did he say? That should be what did he say? Okay. What did he say? What happened if you failed the lie detector test? That they would throw me in the East River. Objection, says Diddy's attorney. Can we please have a sidebar? Girl, did they threaten to throw her in the river? Why do I believe that could possibly happen? Ain't no telling. There's probably a whole bunch of people in the river. We talking about jewelry that's missing, okay? But anyway, they did a little sidebar. They went from 50 Cent to jewelry being stolen. But the thing is, some people was like, well, why didn't he have it locked up in a safe? But see, what she said was it was loaned to her. So I'm guessing that they probably had an event, a really nice, swanky event, and she was loaned the jewelry to wear, and then maybe it got misplaced after she took it off, or maybe somebody stole it, and maybe that's why it wasn't locked up. Because I'm pretty sure if the jewelry was that expensive to where they want to threaten to throw her in the water, then it had to be very expensive, and Diddy probably would have normally kept it locked up. But this is even more evidence for RICO charges. Because the thing is, they were saying that if you did accuse an employee of stealing, you actually should bring in like maybe the po-po, but you don't go to their house, you don't get security, you don't come with guns, you don't search their private residences. If I was to steal from my job today, they ain't about to come to my house and go through my house and bring guns and they linebacker built bodyguards. No, you report them, you fire them, you report them, you call the cops, walk their asses out. But you know, we talking about Diddy. Okay, we talking about Diddy. So anyway. So next, basically they had a little sidebar. The judge said, Mr. Steiner, which is the government attorney prosecutor, you may proceed. What was his demeanor? Very serious. I was terrified. Did you want to be taking the test? I was afraid. How was the test? Wires on you and they question you. Did I steal? Did he tell you the results? He said to calm down, that he couldn't get a good reading and he might have to throw me in the East River. Anyone else in the building? Not to my knowledge. Could you leave? No. Paul said no. What did Paul say at the end? That he come back the next day to figure it out. We started again, another lie detector test in the same location all day. Were you free to leave? No. How long did this go on? For 5 days. For 5 days, y'all. They kept her in the same spot taking lie detector tests all day. What if they want her to fail so they could throw her in the river? 5 days of a lie detector test? Like, who was taking? I bet you if Maury Povich would have took that lie detector test, they would have had it done in 2 hours. Why does it take 5 days? You know, yeah. Watching for Cloud9. What's up? How you doing, boo? Make sure you guys are liking and sharing the video on your way in. Please and thank you so very much. But yeah, so she said they kept her there 5 days, interrogating her and also forcing her to take these lie detector tests. So they said, did you tell anyone where you were? No, I was just trying to survive it. I worked under an NDA. Objection, says Diddy attorney. Judge sustained. Jury should disregard the last answer. You know, I love when they say the jury should disregard the last answer, because once you hear something, it's not going to go away. And it could affect how you rule, you know, how you make your decision. Even if you don't mention it in your meetings, oh yeah, remember she said, it's still in your head. Now, the government said, what would have you been doing? Shadowing Diddy. What happened after 5 days? That I could return to work? That Diddy would see me the next week? Did Diddy ever discuss it with you? No. Why did you continue to work for Diddy? If I left, they think I stole. What were your days like? From his townhouse at 74th Street and Park in the morning to Daddy's house studio at night. How much sleep did you get? On a good day, 4 hours. On a bad day, 2. I got a stress condition. I was paid $55,000. Did you get paid overtime? No. I spoke to the head of HR. She said I was owed $80,000. How did Diddy respond? He ripped up the paper. Would Diddy stay at hotels? Yes. With whom? Kim Porter once a week. And we know that was his ex, his, mother of his children. You said facts. Yes, facts on facts. Facts on facts on facts. What names will he book rooms under? Frank Black. We heard that one a lot. He always used Frank Black among a few others. Also Frank White. And the girlfriends? Jackie Starr. Where did he stay? Intercontinental Buckhead in Atlanta. Beverly Hills Hotel in LA. What were in his bags? A camera. Small bottles of baby oil. Boy, this nigga ain't go nowhere without y'all. If y'all been following this since day one, if y'all been listening to me or anybody else since day one, everywhere this dude go, not just for the free calls, but everywhere he go, he got baby oil in his damn duffel bag and lube. And cameras. She said every time, a camera, small bottles of baby oil and lube every time. What you be doing? Watching TV, ordering room service, keeping up on sleep. Afterward, I sweep the room for anything left behind. Any damages? Baby oil. How frequently would Diddy stay in a hotel with Cassie in 2008? Like once a week. At La Hermitage, the London Intercontinental for several days. The 4 Drips. Did he speak to you about his relationship with Cassie? Yes. Miss London was there. Chef Jordan was there in the other room. He called Cassie over, asked her to walk there, hand me that, go back in the other room. She did it. What did he say? You bitches won't do that. That's why you don't have a man. Oh, this mother. Ooh. Y'all hear that shit? That's why y'all ain't got a man. That's why y'all ladies ain't got no man. Diddy trying to school y'all. If you get called into another room and your man tell you, go do this, go do that, pick up this, grab me that, and you don't want to do it, Diddy said that's why y'all ain't got no men. That's what he told his assistant. Ain't that some shit? What up, Deanna? Woo, now I know why I'm single. Ooh-wee. You know how you do when you got kids, and like a lot of people say, they joke about it, but they say a lot of people have kids because they want them to do what they don't want to do around the house. Like, bring me that remote control, but it's right there, mama. Could you go make me some ice water? But you right there, mama. Can you know how people do with their kids. Oh, watching for Cloudline saying he should have he should have his own butt. That's what I said last week on everything. I said I don't understand. All the baby oil this fool was ordering, and he don't have that. It should be called Sean John baby oil, Sean John butt lube, Sean John. Child, Deanna said, shit. F all that, nigga. Go get your own shit. I wish see, when you that rich and you can afford maids and butlers and assistants and security guards, you got to ask me to get up every 5-10 minutes to do something for your ass while your assistant is sitting right. Boy, bye. You said when my cousins come over, I had them bring me the laundry. Yes, I'll be child when my little nephews come over. Why don't you go do this for your auntie T? Why don't you do that? Okay. Kids love to do things for you, especially if you do treat them right. Give them a little something, like my parents used to do. My uncles, I give you 50 cents. If you go, I give you $2. But anyway, moving right along. So after he said y'all bitches won't do that, that's why y'all ain't got a man. The government said, what did you say? She said, you're motherfucking right. I know that's right, bitch. That's what I would have said. You motherfucking right. Because you ain't going to do me like you do, Cassie. Shit. Talking about throwing somebody in a river. Shit. Anyway, so the government said, did you observe Diddy obtain drugs? A girlfriend in New York, in LA, from One Stop. Remember, One Stop is his main drug dealer, right? So One Stop is the main drug dealer. But she said a girlfriend in New York, in LA, from One Stop, Molly ecstasy delivered to Diddy or to me. Did he ask you to get the drugs for him? Yes, ecstasy. And in the south of France, he asked me to get cocaine. I said, for who? The government said, why? She said, I wasn't going to do it, given how my mother died. Objection. Diddy's attorney wants a sidebar. They done objected like 4 times already. But yeah, you said, fuck that. I don't wait on my, thank you. Wait on my head. No, this shit go both ways. I do things for you. You do things for me. But the way he had her like a little lap dog around there, if he wasn't beating her, he was forcing her to do shit. Like, I'd rather be single. That's a long time. And let me tell you something. Them the type of people you don't listen to. Them type of people, the Steve Harveys in the world who tell you to wait 90 days to have sex and he didn't have 11 wives. Child, please. But anywho, let's see, where was I? Okay. So after they came back from the sidebar, the government said, who did Diddy say the drugs were for? He said, not me. Did you get them? Yes, through the Spanish security guard. He also got prescription drugs in my name. Y'all notice that, right? Every time somebody gets prescription drugs or anything else, Diddy makes them use their name. Now, why would people be so willing to do that? She talking about she made 55,000. I made way more than that a year at my job, and I don't wait on nobody hand and foot. And you only get 2-3 hours of sleep a night. I get how many hours of sleep I want. For all this for 55K, and he still owe you almost 100. And you put prescriptions in your name and all kind of shit. That shit is crazy to me. That shit is crazy to me. I ain't trying to put all my business out there, but for 55K, shit. Anyway, she got the shit through the Spanish security guard. He also got prescription drugs in my name. They were in the toiletry bag I'd carry or security. What about bulk cash? Yes, $100,000 euro coming back from Europe. Where did he get it? Club bookings in Europe. He keep it, then give it to security. Then into his bedroom personal safe. Violence? Yes, fighting. Was Diddy violent with you? Yes. At Star Island, he told me, you are not to leave this house. Pharrell Williams was brought in by boat. So they brought in Pharrell Williams. And she said, I returned Mr. Walker to Palm Island. He called and said, where the fuck are you? You can't have a life. He told her she can't have no life. Anyway, the things that people do to be working in a crowd or working with somebody of certain status. You just get humiliated, degraded, like, ugh. Okay, so anyway, Capricorn Clark, still on the sand, said, one time I asked the chef if there was a turkey bacon, and she said, no fucking turkey bacon. I said, I hate it here. The chef told Diddy, and he pushed me again and again. Let me sip on that. I gotta take a sip of that, okay? You said, ironically, she was single, no holidays or time spent with his family. Diddy hated Cassie. He sure did. And you know what? When Cassie testified and said she thought she was in love, I mean, looking on the outside in, she was, and I have to blame it on her age. She met him at 19. Meeting a music mogul at that younger age, and him telling you, I want to be with you. I want to help grow your career. I promise you 10 albums. I do this, do that. And I don't know what it was, but it's just like the same with the R. Kellys and the other ones out there. They fall for it. Hook, line, sinker. But anyway, and thank you, Duana Boo. Thank you, honey, for sharing the Cash App. Yeah, feel free to donate to the Cash App, y'all. Yes, her life was worth $55,000. And the HR said Diddy owes her $80,000, and he tore up the paperwork when she confronted him about it. You said she was the woman he wanted to be, but never could be. Diddy, and you know, he told one of his assistants, the black guy who testified last week, the one who broke down crying on the stand, he told him that when it comes to his women, Kim Porter, that was the main one. You know, the head bitch, whatever you want to call them, the number one. Mother of his kids, with like Cassie and all them other ones, they were just something to do. That's what they were. They was just something to do. And something to make do other shit. So yeah, it was really gross behavior, y'all. Really gross. Some of the things that he did to people I could never do. You said there's nothing worse than naivety and desperation. Absolutely. She's definitely a victim. Absolutely. You said that 55,000K plus purse probably totaled 100K during that era. Yeah, that's true, because that was around 2000, what? She said 2006, 2008, around that time period. Yeah, you probably right about that. 55K now is definitely not 55K back then, because that's damn near 20 years ago. So yeah, you're right. But let's see. You said what person, KJ? when he say perks, he's probably talking about, every time Diddy and them go somewhere to whining and dining. Like, I'm pretty sure he wasn't having his assistants and his security guards and his bodyguards foot their own bills when they was traveling. But still, it ain't worth it. Not to me. Shit, it ain't worth it to me. But so Diddy got mad because she said she hated there. And he said, after pushing her over and over again, if you hate it here, then get the fuck out of here. Did you leave your employment? I did. But you returned as global brand director. Why? He was impressed by what I did in the job I left for a couple of albums. He said, you wouldn't have to work directly for me. So she went back to him because he told her, you wouldn't have to work directly for me, but I want you working for me, but not directly for me. Because she was like his personal, assistant. And so they said, what were you doing for Cassie? Managing her image, maximizing the optics for her. For Sean Combs, he had final approving on everything. You said getting her ass whooped. She basically went back to work for Cassie, it seemed like. Let me get a drink of this water. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to the jewelry they thought she stole. The lifestyle parties, yep. Probably a lot of things that they were able to do. That's probably why he didn't want to pay her that other $80,000. Show not worth it, not at all. So I guess she came back to work for him, but not directly under him. So she was like helping manage Cassie and her image. But did he have final approval on everything? In LA, where did you live? A gated community. We have followed Kim Porter there. Where was Cassie? In New York City on West End. She would come to LA and stay with him or me or in a hotel. Who else was Cassie seeing? Cuddy. How'd you learn that? She brought him to my apartment. What did she say? She texted me. They were going to a public place in LA. I told her it was a bad idea and to delete the text. Why? If Diddy learned about Cuddy, Diddy paid for her phone and mine. So he paid their phone bills, which means he has access to everything in their phone. I took Cassie to Best Buy to get her a burner phone. So this is who got her the burner phone, because they talked about the burner phone like in the first week of the trial. The government said, when did Diddy return to town? Not long after, he took Cassie to a hotel, the Cipriani. And then, December 22nd, 2011, between 5:30 and 6 a.m., there was banging at my door. What did you see through the peephole? A furious Diddy. Objection from Diddy's attorney. Judge, ask another question, Ms. Steiner. What was his movement? Pacing with something in his hand. Did you open the door? I did. What was he wearing? Button-down sweater, torn pants, and he was holding a gun. He came into my apartment and said, why didn't you tell me? Who is Scott? I said, I don't know any Scott. What did he say? We're going to go kill this nigga. Where was the gun? In his hand. I said, I didn't want to go. He said, I don't give a fuck what you want. Get dressed. I don't give a fuck what you want. Get dressed. What concerns did you have? He never come back to my house. Did you try to escape? No, I got dressed. They said that was kidnapping while armed. She was scared as fuck, y'all. He had a gun. Threatened to kill some other nigga. Child, she probably went because she was scared. She was scared. So, the government attorney said, who joined in? Ruben in the black Escalade, executive class. And where was Ruben? Driver's seat. I got in the back seat, right-hand side. Diddy was in the left next to me. Usually he would have sat in the front. Gun was in his lap. The attorney. How long does it take to drive from your house at that time to Cuddy's house in Hollywood Hills? If you push it, 15 to 20 minutes. What did Diddy and Rube do at Cuddy's house? They went in. Could you see in? Yes. What did you do? I called Cassie on her burner. I said, Cassie, where the fuck? I told her Diddy was at Cuddy's house. Then I changed her number in my phone to my best friend, Stormy. What did you hear on the phone? That Scott was at Cassie's. So Scott is Cuddy. So Cuddy was at Cassie's. When did Diddy come back? He took my phone and called the last number. Then I saw Cuddy driving up. So this is what Cuddy described to us last week. Diddy saw my face and said, there's that nigga right there. We drove off and saw the police driving the other way toward Cuddy's. Diddy was pulling himself together. We stopped at the Key Club and he told me to call Cassie. What did he tell you to tell Cassie? That he had me and wouldn't let me go. Can somebody say kidnapping again? Hostage? Is it a hostage situation, y'all? Yes, Cassie was messing around with Cuddy while with Diddy. Yes. Yep. And you say, yes, she was watching. Wow, she was bold. And he said, I think she also had a side relationship with one of... Yeah, she was also fucking around with somebody else. She was also messing around with somebody else. And let's not forget, she was messing around with the trainer that he hired for her too. The physical trainer or the workout guy. Okay. So let's see. Where are we at? Okay, so they said, what did he tell you to tell Cassie? To convince hold on, let me go back. Okay. So what did he tell you to tell Cassie? He told me to tell her that he had me and wouldn't let me go. How did Cassie respond? She said, okay, come get me. She was calm. Who drove you home? Ruben. What did Diddy then tell you? To convince Cuddy not to say that it had been him at his house. I picked up Cassie. Where did you go? We went to Cuddy's and tried to convince him not to file a police report. What did you tell them? That Diddy came to my house with a gun. What did you tell them? He said. What did you tell them? He said, if you tell on him, he'll hurt us all. So Diddy was trying to convince Cuddy not to file charges because they did ask him last week, why didn't you call the police? And so what Capricorn is saying, that he tried to convince Cuddy not to make a police report. And if he did, Diddy would hurt all of them. And what was Cuddy's reaction? Mind blown. Objection, says Diddy's attorney. Sustain. Jury will disregard, said the judge. What happened at the house? He was kicking Cassie again and again. How was Cassie? In a fetal position. Diddy kicked her all the way to the street. And she was crying silently. Where was he kicking her? Her back, her backside, and then her voice started cracking. This is Capricorn on the stand. They said her voice started cracking as she was explaining what Diddy was doing to Cassie. And the attorney said, where was you? 5 feet away, so was Ruben. What did Diddy say to you? He said, if you jump in, I'm going to fuck you up too. What did Ruben do? Nothing. Who did you call? D-Rock. I told him, tell your brother to stop Diddy. He is kicking the shit out of her. I called Paulie too. I said he'd take care of it, but Ruben did nothing. What next? Diddy told me to get the fuck out too. I left on foot. Could you still see her getting kicked? Until I went around the bend. Damn. He was really kicking her ass. Not just hitting her, but kicking her ass. I can imagine how long she was going through that while laying on the ground out in the street. That is just horrible. That is just horrible, KJ. Ooh. He kicked her all the way from the house to the street and then continued to kick her after Capricorn walked off and after she turned around the bend. Then who did you call? Regina Ventura, which of course is Cassie's mother. You know, she testified last week. And Capricorn told Cassie's mother, I told her, he's kicking the shit out of your daughter. I can't call the police, but you can. The attorney says, why didn't you call the police? The mission of the day was to get Cuddy, so no calling the police. This email, who is it from? Cassie. She wrote that he would be releasing sex tapes about me and he would have someone else hurt me and Cuddy. Do you recall if you responded to this? I don't. Did law enforcement call you? The arson investigators. Cuddy had given them my name. I hung up on them. I just wanted this over. What did Diddy say to you? He said I should kill you bitches and I should cut her face. How many times did Diddy threaten you? I'd say 50 times. D-Rock was there, just doubling down on whatever Puff was saying at the moment. Who is Harv Pierre? The president of Bad Boy Records. I told him Diddy had kidnapped me. What did Harv Pierre tell you? He said, that's crazy, but it's going to be okay. I got a termination notice. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? She told the president of Bad Boy Records that Diddy kidnapped her. And the president said, that's okay. That's crazy, but that's okay. And then she got a termination notice and was accused of not properly putting in for the vacation she was on. You get kidnapped, threatened, your life threatened, and they terminate you because they say you didn't properly report a vacation time that you had took. Ain't that coercion? That's part of that, ain't it? That's one of the things in the lawsuit, right? It's very disgusting. Diddy is evil. I just can't believe how evil he is. All these years, all the things we heard about how mean he is and strict with his employees and different things like that. I would have never thought that he did this type of shit. Never. But anyway, so she was accused of not properly filing vacation. Had you put it in? She said yes to Harv Pierre. So she said, I literally put my vacation in to the president, the guy she reported the kidnapping to. Did you lose your benefits? All of them. Health, 401k, I lost my house. She lost her car. What did Diddy say? That I would never work again, that he would make me kill myself. So basically, he was trying to blacklist her. Blackball, blacklist, whatever you want to call it, right? The government attorney said, did you get a job offer? I did, but it fell through. I couldn't get a job. Did you settle with Diddy? In October 2012, but then Diddy's attorney, objection, can I approach? So they approached, they had a little sidebar or whatnot. The government attorney came back. Aside from that settlement agreement, do you have any other pending litigation against Diddy? No. Did you go back to work with him? Work for him? 2016, no one else would hire me. Cassie had a new record deal with Epic. Who did you have to get approval from? Diddy. Cassie was taking more drugs. Was she still dating Diddy? Yes. In 2023, why did you retain an attorney? I was traumatized by Cassie's civil complaint. Her complaint did not reference me. I reached out to Diddy and said, I want my life back. You kidnapped me. Objection from Diddy's attorney. Judge overruled. The attorney for the government says, was there a discussion of you working for Diddy's again? Yes, as chief of staff. When did you last speak with Cassie? 2018. And with Cuddy? 2012, no further questions from the government attorney. The judge said, let's take a break. And then Diddy's lawyer said, can I start? And the judge said, well, we're taking a break. He wanted to start right away. After all that, you would just want to jump in right away, huh? He was waiting there. You know how you be double dutching and you just be waiting to jump in? He was like, can I start? Didn't the judge just say break, nigga? Yeah, she got a settlement. But they won't let us know how much. Diddy's attorney, he objected so fast before she could even say. As soon as she said settlement for objection, he probably jumped out that damn chair. Oh, God, I wish I could be in the courtroom. Man. You know, she said it was strictly platonic. That's what she said. It was strictly platonic. So I'm going to just go for what she said, unless, and again, I don't read the transcripts till I'm in front of y'all. So unless Diddy's attorney got other proof that there was, I would think they would probably bring that up, but I don't know. Child. But you know what? Excuse me. You know what this makes me think? As much as he loved Kim and as much as he was hurt over her passing, I cannot just sit here in a good state of mind and believe that he never put his hands on her. I cannot. You put your hands on everybody in your circle, except for the men. Except for the men. That's one thing somebody mentioned earlier today. Diddy, they said, look at how much Diddy puts his hands on people and hurts and threatens people. But they're always women. They're always women. So, and then when it came to Cuddy, what'd he do? He broke in his house. He hurt his dog, then locked his dog up, and then bombed his car. But he didn't put his hands on Cuddy. Didn't put his hands on him. Shit, he did an Angela Bassett and blew up the car. Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, from the moment I saw Cassie's hotel footage, when he was whooping her butt in the hotel, it hit me right then, like right away. Like, oh my God, I wonder what Kim had to go through. Because remember with Kels, he was doing a lot of things to a lot of people, and he was also doing it to his wife too. But just like a lot of people in these type of situations around these big moguls and celebrities and, you know, the rich and famous, they want to stay. They try to stay around as long as they can. And his wife, she stayed around for a very long time. Diddy's wife, I mean, not Diddy's wife, but Kel's wife stayed around for a long time. Shit. And Andrea, however you said her name, she stayed around for a very long time. But anyway, back to the transcript. So they had a break. The break is over. So the judge said, Mrs. Clark, you are still under oath. Just want to remind you. So then Diddy's attorney turn to question. Let's see. Diddy's attorney, you met in April 2024. You had a lawyer, Brian Friedman. She said yes. You wanted to come back and work for Diddy, right? We discussed it. Yes. Again, this is Diddy's attorney doing a cross. You saw Mrs. Gragos taking notes. Yes. You said you didn't think Cassie was good for Diddy. Why? I just thought they were very toxic. Tell me about when you were in New York. I was in the Bronx and I hated it. It was 2002. I met Jeanette, then Diddy in 2001. Was the World Trade Center thing, you know, the world. Yeah, okay. Then I met Diddy. Diddy's attorney said he wasn't doing drugs, right? He did ecstasy in Daddy's house, but it got worse. Yes. You authorized Mr. Freeman to seek a job for you. It was all very procedural, lawyer to lawyer. But you were told you couldn't be given a job in the middle of the investigation. I don't remember that. Read this and let me know when you're done. Do you remember saying you had the biggest crush on him? Oh, didn't you just ask about did she have a relationship? Okay, so the attorney says for the government said objection under 403. The judge, Mr. Agnifilio, Diddy's attorney says state of mind. The government attorney is being offered for the truth. Diddy's attorney, we had a stip on this. Then they had to call for a sidebar. After they came back, Diddy's attorney said, you called him Choc for chocolate? I did. You started with Def Jam, Run DMC? I don't go back that far. I'm more Foxy Brown, Redline, Jay-Z. So how did you come to work for Diddy? I put my resume on Monster after the World Trade Center thing. He said, you work for me? I was like, maybe. He was acting on the Broadway of Raisin in the Cane. Oh, damn, I forgot Diddy. Y'all remember that? When Diddy was, oh my God, I forgot all about that. He was doing theater on Broadway and Raisin in the Sun. I forgot all about that. Anyway, Capricorn Clark said she was impressed. Diddy's attorney said he had a major part. He was a star. Then I shadowed him on the Vote or Die campaign. My job was to get the t-shirts on the celebrities and into the photo shoots. I called them and said Diddy wanted them to come. And they came. They did. Oh, wow. I forgot all about that, y'all. What up, fo, honey? How you doing, boo? I had a great time over there kicking with y'all last night. We had a lot of fun over there. Watching for Cloud said, oh, she was in love with Diddy to keep putting up with his abuse. Sad. Very, very sad. Very sad. So, yeah, they came and they tried on the shirts. Then, excuse me, let me take a sip. Okay, we about to get to this missing jewelry. Diddy's attorney said, how long before the jewelry missing thing? It was about 4 months. So after she got hired with Diddy, about 4 months later, on the 4th of July, he threw a white party at his home on the Hamptons that year with Vote or Die. When did the jewels missing happen? After July 4th. The jewels were still on loan from Jacob the jeweler. Okay, here we go. So they were not his jewels. They were Jacob the... Y'all remember Jacob the jeweler? He appeared on a lot of reality TV shows. You know, a lot of them stars from the reality TV shows, that's where they would go to get their jewelry made. And sometimes he would appear as like a cameo on the reality show. So yeah. So anyway, who else got a lie detector test? Mike B, his stylist. He too had gone to street level at 1440 for manicures. The lie detector test was the next day. You never told HR? Nope. I got fired for 3 weeks. How did you get unfired? I went to work on his 35th birthday at Cipriani to do the celebrity list, and I came back. 2004 to 2006, not all, as a personal assistant, then liaison. I was making $65,000 for Combs, then $90,000 at Jive. Why'd you come back to Diddy? I had gotten top records for R. Kelly. Diddy said he was impressed. Asked me to come back for Sean John for women. I think I was a really good employee for him. He told you were awesome? He did not use that word. You worked hard for him? I did. Others work hard for him too, right? Not as hard as me. Capricorn said, not as hard as me. You said Diddy knew how to pick them. He sure did, child. He knew how to pick them women. All his assistants and employees, he knew how to pick them all, but he definitely knew how to pick the ones that were real hungry, who would probably deal with a lot of things. Like a lot of things that they saw, they would turn a blind eye. Normally, if we was to be working somewhere and we saw somebody fighting, let me see a girl getting jumped at work, I might jump in and pick up a laptop or a keyboard and bust somebody upside the head. What you doing? You know, call the police, call the po-po-ho. But no, they would turn a blind eye to everything. And perhaps from impoverished communities, the entertainment industry takes advantage They do. They always have. And they always, you know what, KJ? To take it a little bit further, they've always taken advantage of children. Children in the entertainment industry, from TV, movies, and music. Mm-hmm. You said Pop says Diddy was, I can't say. You better not say it, 400. You know what? You said I was, like somebody tag me in, coach. Tag me in. I'm not just going to sit by and watch somebody get just dog walk like that. Mm-mm. But anyway, shoot, and I want all my benefits. Shoot, because I'm going to sue all y'all asses for pain and suffering. Shoot. I can't even control my emotions anymore. I can't think straight. I can't work nowhere. Shoot, PTSD. Mm-hmm. I want severance package. I want it all. But yeah, but she did say she did get a settlement from him. So, but they won't tell us how much it was. So, anyway, she said nobody worked for Diddy as hard as she did. Capricorn said also, I did learn a lot from Diddy, and then they said she's almost crying at that point. While she's trying to explain this part, they said she was almost crying. She said, I did learn a lot from Diddy. He broke that glass ceiling for us Black people in the business world. And they asked her, did she need a minute? Because, she was getting emotional. So Diddy's attorney asked her, did she need a minute? She said, no, it's just complicated. And the judge said, yeah, let's go ahead and take a break. So they had to take a break because she was getting emotional. And I could imagine, like, you working, you busting your ass for this dude. And the thing about it, he wasn't just treating you like shit. He treated everybody like they was shit. But you obviously thought that you deserve better because you worked harder for him. And in most jobs, when you do work harder, what you get? You get bonuses, you get raises, you get your own office with a nice view, you get like keys to a car, you get the credit card, the black cards, you get, not threatened with a gun and kidnapped, and like get to see other people at the job getting their ass whooped every day, and people getting their cars blown up, and like you don't sign up for that shit. But as they say with Cassie, but you stayed. And she went back, even though she was told that she wouldn't work directly under him. She still went back. But anyway, so while the jury was out and while the witnesses was out, when I was taking that break for Capricorn, when she was getting emotional, the judge said on the DNA questions to Inspector Jimenez, the government's objection is overruled. The government said, we asked for a bit longer. We've not been able to eat lunch. We are running ahead of schedule. Our case may be closer to 5 weeks than 6 weeks. So they're trying to say the whole case could wrap in 5 weeks instead of 6 weeks. So once they came back, the jurors and the jurors and the witnesses were on the way to come back in. The government attorney, they proposed to use communication between Mrs. Clark, which is Capricorn, and Cassie, and we don't see any non-hearsay purpose. Diddy's attorney said there are logistics and photo shoots being discussed. She testified to this on direct. The judge says in their defense submission over the weekend, the defense argued the album cover was relevant. Right, Mrs. Shapiro? He's saying that to the government attorney. Diddy's attorney, Shapiro says, I'm sorry, that's Diddy's attorney. Diddy's attorney, Shapiro, said yes. Now, the government said, but Cassie is topless. Remember last week? They were talking about that album cover. They said they didn't want to show the album cover to the jury because it makes her look not so ladylike. I can't remember the exact words they used, but it don't put her in a good light, that photo album cover. And they thought it was irrelevant. But Diddy's attorney still wants to use it. So anyway, the government said Cassie is topless with her arms crossed. So and then the judge said, let's have Mrs. Clark come back. Anyway, they brought Capricorn back. The judge said, now bring the jewelry in. Jewelry entered. Diddy's attorney, he resumes his cross. When you went into the park, it was to Tavern on the Green. Yes, we parked there early in the day in the park. We ran into Nas. When you say he had Cassie spin, who was there? Let me show you what you said. You said Lorianne Gibson was there. They misheard me. When did you first meet Cassie? I met her with Ryan Leslie. Why did you not get along with Cassie sometimes? In 2008, she got more bravado being his girlfriend the longer it lasted. She thought I was being paid to help her. Objection. The judge said sustain, re-ask. What did you see? She went from being a sweet model to being a feisty girlfriend. Do you think she was talented? She had talent and was very beautiful, but not talented. She was not. Look at Diddy's attorney being messy. Diddy's attorney was like, oh, she was beautiful, but you don't think she was talented? And Capricorn said, she was not. I have good taste. Capricorn said, talented to me is like Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. Cassie was more of a studio musician. She needed things equalized. Oh, I knew that already. Y'all know Cassie can't sing that well. We all know that, right? Everybody knew. That's why the only one that really hit was that Me and You song. And she really wasn't like, it wasn't like she was hitting any high vocals. It wasn't like she was doing some incredible runs. It wasn't like she was, Me and You was really safe. I think that song is really safe for someone who can sing, but can't sing. Y'all know what I mean? It's me and you. It's just me and you. Just not two. Anybody can sing that, right? It was all image. She was cute. And she was real small, which she still is. She still has a small frame. But y'all remember Cassie back then? Oh, my God. And that was really, like, disturbing. Because when he was beating her and kicking her and punching her and throwing things at her, and she's so small. She was so small. Yeah, she was mediocre. I used to say back in the day, if they can get an album, I can get an album. And I know I ain't no Whitney Houston or nothing. But I'd be like, damn, they can get an album? But I wasn't skinny either. I've always been a chunky little peanut, okay? So, a lot of them who got them deals, they was beautiful or they had a nice shape. And they would get those studio deals, those record album deals, production deals and stuff like that. But yeah. But you said that lifestyle and social status must be like a drug. She did not have to return to that. She could have changed industries. That's correct. I agree. He said sound like Cat was jealous. Ooh, you caught that? Now, it does sound like she might have been jealous, but she ain't lying about that girl didn't have all that talent, okay? She ain't lying about that part. She was cute. But yeah. So what they were saying next. Okay, so Capricorn said she was not talented, but I got good tests. She was beautiful. So Cap says, talented to me. Oh, I already read that. Okay. She need to be equalized. Okay, that's what we stopped off. She need to be equalized. That's when they put people in the studio and they just make them sound awesome. Okay. Diddy's attorney said, did she perform live? A couple of times, not the greatest. Was she a hard worker? At times. When wasn't she a hard worker? She preferred to be with her boyfriend. When we moved to LA after Kim had the twins, like 2009-ish, I saw her developing more of a relationship with Diddy. He supported her, yes, with stylists, other musicians, all the components to make a star. Did she get more help than others? Yes. Young jock and a group from Atlanta. I developed French Montana. I ran into Cassie. She said she had a new deal with Epic. I dressed her like David Bowie. We did a photo shoot at my house. We wrote a mini movie and shot it for the project. What about Official Girl? Super cute video. Diddy's attorney goes on. King of Hearts, Capricorn. It was fresh. Diddy liked it. Cassie had a green wig. Yes. We moved to admit this witness. Then the government says there's a ceiling issue. Diddy's attorney says, you don't remember this email? Cap says, I don't. Here in 2012, you are setting up a recording session for Cassie. Cap says Mario Winan was for the chairman. Diddy's attorney says for Mr. Combs? Yes. When did you learn Cassie was dating Cuddy? Fall of 2011, I picked her up there. Oh, so everybody knew except Diddy. Everybody knew she was creeping, but Diddy. But shit, he did have Kim. And he did have other people too besides Cassie. Hey. So, she said, fall of 2011, I picked her up from Cuddy's house. You believe that after Thanksgiving, Cassie and Kid Cudi were what? Cap said getting to know each other. Why'd you get a burner phone at Best Buy? I told her, you cannot do this on your bad boy phone. How did you know about burner phones? I grew up in LA. In December 2011, Diddy was at an orphanage in Almaty, Kazakhstan. Cap says, I heard it was Russia. How did Diddy get into your building? I told a security guard, got fired. What was his name? Some random security guard. What did he look like? Black guy, younger than 35. Diddy's attorney goes on. What was Diddy's gun? What was Diddy doing with the gun? He had it in his hand. He was pointing it at you? No. But you told the government he pointed it at you. It says, or waved it around. That's more correct. That's what Cap's saying. I said waved it around. That's more correct. Diddy's attorney, where did you change into street clothes? In my closet. Isn't it true you went so that Diddy wouldn't do something stupid? No, I went because he said he didn't care that I didn't want to go. He's a jealous guy? Capricorn said he has a bad temper. To the Escalade, did you pass a security guard? I saw him in his little hut. Diddy was behind the driver with a gun on his lap. You made a call? Not then. Did you look at Kid Cudi's door to see if they could get through it? I was really not paying attention. I was so in my head trying to plan my next step. I was praying that Cudi was not in there. Did Cassie have 2 rooms? Cudi took her to one room. She had another. You are 100% that you called and told them Diddy had a gun. Yes, I said it very quickly. I didn't want Diddy to see me on the phone. Did you say that Lauren London was on the phone with you and Cassie and Cudi? No, only part of the time. And that's when her voice started cracking again. I guess she was getting a little emotional again. She said she wanted someone to know where she was. So she had Lauren London on the phone and she had Cassie on the phone. And what did you tell her? I'm scared of mountain lions. Diddy's attorney says, mountain lions? I don't know if you know the Hollywood Hills Coyotes. Maybe Lauren was on the phone. Maybe it's such a long time ago. Diddy's attorney said, are you aware that Lauren and Mr. Combs or Diddy were friends for years after this? Yes. Then you see the Porsche coming up the hill. That's Cudi. Yes, Cudi is in the black Porsche. He stops next to us, then speeds off, and we chase him. Excuse me. Then the attorney says, Cap says he loses us, we turn away, then we see police pass us. You go to pick up Cassie and go where? We go to Cudi's house. There was ADT there. Then you go to Diddy's house and you say you saw Diddy kicking Cassie and even in the street. Yes. You hung up on the fire inspector? I did. When you were on vacation, it was with who? Rihanna. After you were fired, what job did you get? I was hired by Chris Lighty to go work for 50 Cent. Here you wrote to Diddy. One day you'll forgive me. Anyway, be well. X's, X's. You know how they do the love yous, X's, X's. Capricorn said, yes, I wrote that. Diddy's attorney says, you wrote on February 28th, 2015, your grace period to be mad at me has surpassed the agreed time. Laugh out loud. Did you write that? Yes, sir, I did. Please read that out loud. I wrote, she was never my friend. She wanted me gone. I realized. Diddy's attorney said, did you think Cassie wanted you gone? That's when Clark started crying, y'all. That's when Clark started crying. And she says, sorry. I'm trying to read as I can picture her talking. So she started crying and she says, sorry, this is complicated for me. I felt that I was Puff's protector. I felt I was the only one gone and she was still there. And things were getting worse. I try to keep professionalism as the goal. Diddy's attorney says, you thought you could be his protector? Cap says, it was to move the ball toward the goal, to inspire. Diddy's attorney, did it hurt that he would only take you back because Cassie wanted? Yes. I have no parents. My son is autistic. My stakes are higher, sir. The judge says, how much more, Diddy's attorney? And then Diddy's attorney says, can I talk to the government? And that's when they did a sidebar. Child, what y'all think so far? I think she did really well on the stand. Even every now and then when she broke down, pretty consistent with her story. And the main important thing, or the most important thing, is her story is pretty consistent to other people who testified of the same events. So far, I haven't really heard anything off. I haven't heard anything off or anything that be like, okay, well, they said he bombed the car, but you saying that, yeah, pretty much. He broke in the house. He broke in Cuddy's house. I don't know what he did to the dog because they didn't really say. I don't think they said exactly what he did to the dog, but Cuddy said he hurt his dog. And then he said his dog was traumatized. He did say his dog was traumatized for a long time. So I don't know what the hell he did. What you do to the dog? I'm telling you, they should have called PETA. They should have called the Humane Society. Anyway, somebody said if Diddy was the most powerful man in hip hop, you have to agree that he has the most powerful personal assistants, right? And if so, how do you expect they would be? Wishy-washy or ride or die? I think she wrote for him heavy, as was her job. You know what? I can agree with what that person had to say about Capricorn. If you are the most powerful man in hip hop, you also have the most powerful personal assistants, and they will ride for you. And they think she wrote heavy for him. And from her breaking down and being emotional and saying, I did my job, I was the best at it, I did the best job out of all the people that work for him. Anyway, so after they came back from the sidebar, Diddy's attorney said, just a few more minutes and we'll get you out today. Capricorn Clark said, thank you, sir. Diddy's attorney, you did a lot of great work with Cassie in 2016 and 2017, right? I believe so. Cassie had addiction problems? Yes. You made a short movie with her? Yes, it was called Love a Loser. You wrote to him asking for forgiveness? I wanted my life back, my dream, my competency. When you met with me, you wanted to work for him, right? We discussed it. Nothing further from Diddy's attorney. The judge says, Mrs. Steiner, and then it goes back to Cassie's attorney, or the prosecuting attorney. How much was Diddy required to pay you? The judge says, sidebar. Then the attorney says, what happened with the job with Chris Lighty? Capricorn says he died the day before I was supposed to start. Then at Interscope, it wasn't about a job. They told me to leave Diddy alone. I object. That was Diddy's attorney, Judge Sustain. Capricorn Clark says I was blacklisted. Objection from Diddy's attorney, Judge Sustain. The government asked, why did you return to work for Diddy? So people could see I wasn't disposable. At this level of business, he held all the power. Why did you meet them? To get my life back. In the kidnapping, this is from the attorney, the government attorney. In the kidnapping, did Diddy carry a gun? Yes. Judge says, jurors, I know we kept you longer than I said. Thank you. See you tomorrow. All rise. The judge was just like, okay, let's wrap it up. So I'm assuming tomorrow, judge said basically, I don't think she's done. I think the government probably got a few more questions. I don't know if Diddy's attorney going to cross again, but the judge said tomorrow, and the government said they got the LAPD, they got the LA Fire Department, Jimenez, Nash, and Maya. Diddy's attorney said, what about the VTC with Diddy in MDC Brooklyn jail? The judge said there are logistical difficulties in the evening. They believe they are being flexible. Gallegos, we will cut at 5:30 p.m. So, Gallegos says the legal minutes cut off when MDC legal is not there. The other calls are capped at 300 minutes and they are filtered. The judge says, let me work on that. There are union issues with the VTC in the evening and maybe more SCIF time here. I don't know what these abbreviations stand for, but it sounds like they're trying to get somebody from jail, some calls, or listen to some calls or something. Somebody said when Diddy was in power, these people fought to be by his side because of the money, power, and lifestyle it afforded them. Now they'll say anything to distance themselves from him because being anti-Diddy is now what is advantageous to their careers. I don't know how I quite feel about that latter part of that person's statement. Now, the beginning part, yeah, I feel that with a lot of the powerful people in the industry, a lot of people are there, not just for a job, but because of the money, power, and lifestyle. Because when you are someone's personal assistant, you normally get crib, you get car, like I said, you get credit cards. I mean, you eat and wine and dine and fly here and fly there. You get to go to the most impressive hotels and out of the country and all the parties and the concerts. And I mean, it's probably an amazing life set aside all the abuse and threats and coercion and drugs and, you know, being kidnapped, you know. But anyway, it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm just one of those people God said, you just going to work a regular old job. You're going to sit behind a desk and on the side, you're going to flip cakes and you're going to be one of the greatest cake decorators in your city for the rest of your life. Because the things that some people deal with for a job and money and to be around famous people, I don't think I know my attitude, and I don't have a bad attitude, by the way. I don't have a bad attitude, but I can get a very bad attitude when I'm being mistreated. Or when somebody is mistreated around me, my family, my friends, I can get a very, very bad attitude. I can go from 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds. These people who was in these situations, who stayed and worked under these conditions or was in relationships under these conditions, I will never understand. I will never understand. I'd rather be on welfare and living in the projects and on food stamp, Section 8, EBT card. I'd rather be doing all that before being abused and kidnapped and threatened. They threatened to throw her in the East River. Like, just send me home back to the bricks from where I'm from. Child, I don't even think we got any more projects in our city. I think the last of them are being torn down. But Send me back to the hood. Send me back to the bricks. Not like I'm that far away from the hood now. I'm still, what do you want to call it? Catty corner from the hood. Like the construction crew had asked me asked me today. That's why I was late. Because again, I had to meet with the contractor who's redoing my roof and my siding because of the hail. And so he asked me, he said, now do you want us to leave the work in the driveway or in the yard, or do you want to put it on the roof? And I started looking at him like, you do realize I'm in the hood, right? He said, well, most people do prefer it to be on the roof. I'm like, if you don't put that shit on the roof, because that ain't going to be me. I ain't going to be the one upset. That's y'all. If y'all get robbed, shit. Y'all still going to finish what y'all agreed to and what my insurance company is paying y'all for. Okay. I'm like, y'all better not leave that shit out there. Shit. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, you said you agree with that statement too. Yep. She wanted to make him proud. She really did. She really did. It's like a proud child who your parent always getting upset with you, but you always want to make them happy. And that's why a lot of kids who are in those situations with abusive parents, they always trying to do everything in their power to make their parents happy, but it seems like nothing they do works. And they continue to get abused and beaten and mistreated or overlooked. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree. He said, just like the reality TV stars, nothing in the world could make me want to work in such toxic environment. It's so sad. And when we look at, like, you know, at our age that we are now, when we was coming up, a lot of the actors and the stars that was like doing it big back then, they all either dead or drugged out, alcoholics, they living on the street. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them. The one, you know, when you see those shows, Where Are They Now? You look at those shows and be like, damn, y'all had it so good. What happened? And then you hear what happens behind the scenes and what happens at these parties. And allegedly, can we say Justin Bieber? I'm just waiting on something to come out about him and Diddy, because we all saw that video where it started circulating again after Cassie's video dropped. It started circulating again with Bieber in that video with Diddy, and he was looking scared. He was looking so scared. I was like, poor Bieber, what have they done to you? And Diddy was like, why you don't come around? Why you don't call me no more? Why we don't kick it no more? Why we don't hang out? And Bieber was just sitting there like, Child, it's so sad. But anyway, let me get off of here. I know I'm super late, so I didn't even plan on being on here this long. We had an hour and a half, y'all. It was a very long transcript today, but we got through it. And again, they're going to pick up tomorrow with some firefighters, some police department, some investigators. And I think they're going to finish off Capricorn. I think she's almost done. But we shall see. And thank you so much watching from Cloudline. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Great live. Got to get back. Honey, get back to work, okay? Get back to that pocketbook. You so welcome, KJ. Thank you. And thank you for engaging with me too. I love it when you guys engage. Now, trust and believe, I appreciate the ones out in the clouds too, giving the clicks and the views. But when y'all engage with the topic at hand, or even if we don't fully understand what's going on, just to be engaging, I love it. I love going back and forth with you guys, listening to your thoughts and opinions. And on that note, you guys, again, if you haven't already, on your way out, please like and share the video. Subscribe to the Hood Table if you happen to be new here. Please feel free to donate to the Cash App or the Super Chat. $sign the Hood Table 402 is the Cash App. And of course, the Super Chat, you just got to hit the Super Chat. And for the replay gang, please make sure you like and share the video as well. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you guys. Say no to the free calls. Thank you, KJ. You better say it louder for the people in the back of the church. Say it louder. I don't want to do no free calls. Like I said, after hearing about all this shit they be doing, my freak level, I thought I had a pretty okay, decent freak level. I ain't even there. I ain't even there. Like you said about Cassie's singing voice, mine gotta be mediocre. I am so serious. But anyway, y'all, stay safe, be blessed, remain vigilant at all times, and always remember to keep it hood. I'm out. Until we see each other again tomorrow for day number 11 of the Diddy trial. Bye.